Okay. Welcome everybody to the 43rd Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on the first day of 2015, January 1st. And just 1 second here while I cut the other audio. And sorry about that interruption. We'll continue here, and we're going to talk with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation with all kinds of new news about things happening in 2015. He's released a roadmap of 2015 and some of the things that are expected to happen and that are in motion for 2015. It's going to be, I think, a very exciting year for advances and all kinds of new directions for the Keshe Foundation, as well as continuing in depth in some of the previous things as well. So let's carry on and talk to Mr. Keshe now and see what's going on at the Spaceship Institute and Keshe Foundation. Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good day to you wherever you are. Happy New Year to you. I'm getting instructions from Elia what I have to say. Happy New Year to you all. I hope it'll be a wonderful year for all of us, and especially for humanity. As you know, we have laid out our mandate and roadmap for 2015. We achieved most of nearly all what we set out to do for 2014. A prelude to what is going to happen in 2015. This roadmap does not belong to Keshe Foundation. This roadmap belongs to humanity. We see what is about to be delivered in the coming days and coming weeks, and knowing what is about to happen and what is about to take shape, we have put a very clear indication on what we expect to see this year. The only target we have this year is establishing and starting the establishment of world peace. As you know, this has been the main objective of this foundation, taking man into space, taking man into joining what we call the universal family, and the qualification and the only thing which any race needs to join the universal family is accepting peace. This way, the whole space stays peaceful. I was explaining to Dr. Elia yesterday. She said, but in other planets and other places, they kill each other on Earth, everything else like Earth. I said, whatever happens, that's within the planet. When a planet, when the entities or life, what we call the intelligent life on a planet, it reaches the point to cross the border of the space of the planet into what we call what is known as galaxy, or into the space of the universe, that's the time when we take action. That's the time when we enforce and we close till the peace, understanding the reality of the peace, is accepted by the entities within that planet. Earth has reached that point. The humanity has reached that point. And now it's time to accept one point, and that's peace. Not just by word, by understanding, by living it, and by implicating it. So the roadmap of 2015 is very simple. One target: to achieve world peace. The world peace we do not leave in the hand of governments and United Nations and the rest to achieve. One of the reasons you people have been organizing Keshe Foundations around the world is because you believe in the ethos of our work, which is achieving peace. So we make the Keshe Foundations around the world the flag bearers of peace. What this means, we operate through the Keshe Foundations around the world. We have a full list of who's sitting where, and through it we reach the governments, we reach the people through their intellect. Word has not worked, threat has not worked, punishment has not worked, and that is why we abolished all the religions' principle and criterion, because none of the religions delivered anything, but actually they added more to wars and bloodshed. So we don't change religion, we don't tell you to become this and that. All we say, accept one ethos: thou shalt not steal. And that way, because you're not stealing, you're at peace. Because you're not planning to steal, you're at peace. And this will go from individuals to societies and to the whole planet. Within the Keshe Foundation, within the mandate, I've made it very clear. A lot of you looked at the shutting down of the reactor number 2 a few weeks ago, between connections between the reactors in Germany, in Canada, and the SSI, as a thing which just happened, showing the power of the technology. In fact, that was a cover to show that we can cross continents. And knowing in our operation in the health side how we reach the emotional part of the volunteers with diseases, all we need to add is to mount on these reactors the process of delivering equal balance field in the emotional part of the man's brain. What this means is that man instantaneously forget about wars, because he reaches emotional balance, which that emotional balance immediately will react and interfere with the physicality. I have informed the major governments of this development, and in fact, we can enforce peace within matter of minutes around the world by people not even remembering what the war is. You have seen the way our two knowledge seekers, two beautiful knowledge seekers like Marco and Armin, showed they could control the reactor from a distance from the center. Then we showed how, through thought and cooperation between 3 reactors in 3 positions around the world, we brought specifically within seconds, physically, a motor to a standstill at SSI. Twice within half an hour. One was pre-tested because I knew what I was doing, and second time I was sure it can be shown. I brought in Elia, Dr. Elia, and the reactors in Germany and in Canada into operation to show it physically. So people who have used the Keshe Foundation health systems, they know how we interfere with emotions, psychological part of the brain. And they have seen how ILS can be changed, how fibromyalgia can be changed, how Alzheimer's have been changed. All we need to do now is to mount the 2 systems together. Create a balanced field across this planet. Total cost less than $100. We allow certain time to pass. If we do not see, we will operate these reactors. Not by us, but by you. We'll teach you how to mount it the way you made the CO2s, and then you made the reactors. Now, we release, as we have done with the help of Sohail in China, that the first medical pads are released. We have come to an agreement in parallel with Professor Lutzi that the medical cups will be released in the same way. All we need to do is to mount the 2 systems together. The way we shut the system down through different directions, the way knowledge seekers stopped or increased or reduced the weight in the reactors. When we release plasmatic and magnetic field in the balance level, all human brains will come to that point. Men's will not even remember why they're carrying guns. People will not attend working in the factories which is making armaments. We've shown it, you've seen it, systems have been used and tested. Then the energy, the space program will come automatically into move, because men need jobs to do something, and now all the finances for arms will go in one direction. How we can help, how we can develop, how we can get into space collectively as a race. Now, part of the whole program is obvious to a lot of people. This is our roadmap, and that's how it will stay. The psychological medical reactors will be produced in Europe. It's been agreed, the development, actually the commercialization of it will start next week. And this is very simple, all has been agreed. We announce it, then we allow you people who've been developing your star formation reactors, which you've been trying to see lift, to be mounted with these systems, which will be manufactured here in Europe. So all you do, you add your star formation system with the balanced, what we call psychological reactors. And this is how you spread and you bring balance. The fields within the environment of this planet is at the frequency, what you call it, or what we call mag-grav strength of the human brain. And instantaneously the man forgets about war, because he finds peace, he finds balance in his psychological, and does not see anything in respect to his physicality. One of the problems that the man has never understood is anger. Why anger is created. I have explained this in a couple of workshops, but it's passed you a lot. Anger comes when emotional strength is not in balance with physical. When physically we cannot do something, emotional cannot support it, the conflict creates anger. And now when you create balance between the two with use of your reactors, your CO2 reactors, or star formation, there is no anger. There is no reason for war. This is where you find peace. So now you are open to further reason why we've been working this way. We have walked you to the peace, collectively, without you knowing. We have given you the tools to enforce peace without a single shot being fired. And you are all looking for lights and lift. I watched a large number of reactors are being tested around the world. And the way we have seen the 1 centimeter glass reactor, ping pong ball reactors, all coming into operation, you are the, what I call the spearhead for world peace. We'll supply you, we'll teach you how to produce these systems if it's blocked by the governments to reach you. And all you need is you mount your space formation, star formation, onto this. The reason for this is very simple. When you carry this, the message will go across the boundaries of this planet, and the message will complete with the reunion. Which means not only we accept peace, we live a peaceful life, we would like to join the community. So, in a very short time, we wait for more number of people. I have already spoken to China, to Sohail, for possibility of production of these units. We will commercialize these as fast as possible in the next few days, few weeks. It depends how Sohail does it. And we produce parallel in Europe, which means if one side is blocked, we will not be blocked. So you will receive star formation reactors for less than $100, $150, we think. You can buy the units, you can buy the peace cups, and bring the two together. Or we see how we can produce it here. that the field exerted outside the system will be at a peace level. We have a meeting tomorrow here in Italy and in the following days in next week. And we put this into application confirmation of delivery. I said we invited the world leaders to organize peace. They took it, some attended, and then it went on the carpet because it was not worth it. It didn't buy enough votes. We invited the world religious leaders. They did not play the game the way we wanted it to bring peace, so we abolished their use. We don't create a new religion. We bring one ethos. Thou shalt not steal. As you see in our roadmap, we have gone a step further in the coming days, the foundation, coming weeks. The foundation will announce the opening of the University Institute. And at the same time, the Institute location, once it's completely agreed, has the facility that any knowledge seeker anywhere around the world wants to commercialize can be supported by the foundation to commercialize. Which means the spin-offs, creation of new jobs, and balance in power between the people and their own consciousness will come into operation. So when we set this down as a roadmap, the Keshe Foundation is not a talking box. We have the means, you have the tools, we have shown it to you how to do it, very discreetly. We walked to you, you were all looking for energy and flight, and we were looking for peace. Now you have built the tools of peace. In the coming days, as I said, coming weeks, we give you kits for peace. And then at the same time, across the world, you operate, you run them. And then we see where we're going to come. People will not walk into the factories to build arms, because to them, why they make, what's the use of making it? They will prefer to go hungry than actually making a tool to kill. If anything happens to me to stop this process, as they did, as you know, this year, or last year, there is enough information in our teachings, especially with Dr. Elia, in the section of the brain, for you to produce the first peace cups. So it will not be limited, or eliminating me will not affect. The way you manage to find your way around and build different ways of systems and reactors. Now, if you are concentrate and peace is part of your real target, being with the foundation, you will be able to build the cups of peace. Now, the world governments understand what we mean. We can, and we have the knowledge, the technology, and the know-how to enforce peace. Actually, it's in the hand of all the Keshe Foundations around the world. In the past 2 weeks, we set up what we call the core peace team. The 12 people within the core peace team are. This means that every one of the 12 members of Peace Corps becomes a focal point for peace. They have learned how to devote their souls to the religious leaders and the prophets. Now, as a gift to them, we give them the right to do the same with the human beings across through the systems they have. To the souls of prophets.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, we're getting some breakup.
Yeah, we lost a couple of sentences there that were kind of critical, actually.
Those who do not fall within the frame will not fall out of the frame. That's Chinese. Black in the skin, yellow in the skin, and white in the skin, all working towards one direction. Can you hear us?
We lost part of the transmission there for the last paragraph that the important things you were discussing. We lost some words here and there. So if you could kind of review that, that would be great.
Just at the point where you were talking about the core.
We can hear you now, yes. Oh, I see it's cutting in and out there now. We had some trouble with your connection there, I think. I can hear you now. I can hear you now, Mr. Keshe. Okay, so oh, he's back. You're back again. Yeah, we lost you there, and you're back again. We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah. Okay, we hear you. Oops. It's premature. Yeah. Okay. You just have to have some patience here. Yes.
About the core peace team.
Yeah, okay. Now what I've said was that the core peace team, which is 12 of them, they become the focal point for the achieving world peace. They have collectively, unknowingly, have raised their own soul level to the prophet of the past. So from now on, the 12 become the focal point for delivery of the peace around the world through the systems. Each core peace team, as a group of 4, possesses one set of reactor. And in so many ways, they are connected to the reactor at SSI. And at the same time, if you use copper oxide or CO2 in your reactors, you will join us. This is the key. If you use copper oxide, GaNs material, or CO2, you will lock into the system in totality. CO2 comes from the atmosphere, and copper comes from the earth. O is a common denominator to the water of this planet and to the oxygen in the air. You will reach the soul and the body at the same time. So every person on this planet from now on is responsible or can do to achieve world peace through their own wish, because they can connect their wish to the system and the system accordingly will transfer. This is how the universal system works, not through physicality, but through emotion and the soul. Now, maybe, as I said just a few minutes ago, understand how we have marched you to the peace, to the tools for peace, and for acts of peace. And at the same time, all of you have been looking at the balls of energy and left. We had to do this, otherwise it would have been stopped or blocked, or people would have not achieved what was planned. There are a few more days left for the Peace Corps team to do their jobs with the Prophet. Once they complete after the 6th, they take their position themselves. We have finished, and we have totally, completely stopped any progress through the Prophet of the past. Because not only they did not deliver the unity of mankind, they added to more wars and more division. And when a system of management does not work, we change the system. Religion did not bring peace, brought more division, more bloodshed. And especially in the last 180 years, the last one could not even deliver the peace, but he added to more murders. We never seen millions being annihilated in one go. In the past, 200 years ago, if people killed each other by arrow or whatever, or shot each other, there was a chance you could pull the arrow out and save a life. With the new development, because it was not delivered correctly by the last messenger, the murders have become in millions. Nuclear bombs, wars of mass murder, chemical warfare, and the rest. So that's why we intervened and we stopped. A man's soul and level of understanding has reached the Prophet of the past. If you believe in a Prophet, so you believe in his ethos, which is, thou shalt not steal. You shall not steal a knife, a life, or being a simple thoughts. You want, you ask, if you are given, you thank it. You need, you ask, and if it's made present to you, that's a gift. And this is how we will change. That's why we're done with the religions of past, because it has brought nothing. In the roadmap of 2015, we have finished with the boundaries and countries. There are no roads, there are no lines anywhere on this planet which makes a country, except greed and who collects more. So that's another kind of stealing. So we have done with the borders. The reason we're done with the borders, because we have the tools to deliver. In the coming months, when you can travel across borders, you do not need to be in one place in the morning to be in the afternoon. You cross borders, as I said to our Americans a couple of years ago, we cross your borders without you knowing. So now a lot of people cross borders. What's the use of borders except you accept that every man across the world pays the same level of taxes in the time of donation. What this means is that at the time you have free, I can donate so much of my time to teach, so much of my time to clean up the street, so much of time to be a doctor at the hand of people to use. We have changed the principality of stealing. And at the same time, in the roadmap of this year, we have said, and already people who work around us and are in the process of commercializing different aspects of the foundation work, is that we do not need any of the profit. Whatever is our share, we pay back to the factory, that the manufacturers still, if they want to make profit from the foundation, to produce systems, that these systems, be it the CO2, be it the flight system, be it the energy system, be it the peace system, be it the medical system, will be given to the poorest nations and poorest people in the richest nations around the world equally. That in them having what they have, they can have, and what they can give, no one will steal from no one, and no one will be higher than the other. Talking peace up to now has not worked because no one has managed to deliver the tool of peace. Now we deliver the tool of peace to every man on this planet. And that's why so many Keshe Foundations, as we know in the last peace conference, which was broadcasted from Brescia, there were 102 points on this planet broadcasting it live simultaneously. We monitored it. So there is enough support around the world in millions to deliver the peace. Because we have the tools of the peace. You made it. You made the copper oxide. You made the CO2. Now the CO2 systems becomes available from next week, 2 weeks, around the world. Then you can have, you give it to everybody. You make a CO2 at home or copper oxide and give 4 ping pong balls to somebody and say this is what you need to achieve peace and energy. One of the main cornerstones of problems on this planet was energy source. Now, in these CO2 reactors, in these CO2 GaNs reactors, in these copper oxide GaNs reactors, we have given you millions of suns, energies of the suns. So you can achieve peace yourself. We have done our job. Well, now we monitor till the point of the maturity of the peace arrives within hopefully coming time. As we said in our mandate roadmap, we'll introduce you to the family. Then it's up on you what you want to do, where you want to go and where you want to settle. There is much more to teach. For that reason, we set up the universities. There is much more to develop. That's why we allow the spin-off from the foundation by the people or knowledge seekers, that even the knowledge they use to create the spin-offs is on the public. Anybody can reproduce and replicate. I was in meeting with the industrialists in Italy past few days. I said, the biggest problem you have is that there are 7 billion men on this planet. And even if you can supply 1% of them, is 7 million of them, instead of 7 billion of them, you still need 10 years to produce. What about the rest? So there is enough for the others to be benefited by the technology collectively altogether. The biggest problem in the coming time is governments coming to people asking, help us. Not for war, but help us to find a way to support you for peace. We came through the back door and we delivered the tool of peace to all of you. Those who've been crying for equality and saving the planet, you have everything in your hand. The problem has been you were too busy trying to find energy, and we've been sneaking in, delivering what we wanted to be as tool of peace. We can reach the mind of man through the work of the man, through the structure of the man. We did not produce magnesium, we did not produce potassium oxide or whatever. We produced copper oxide, we produce CO2. The creation of man comes from amino acid, which is within the air, in conjunction with the water and the material of this planet, which is salt, water, and copper oxide. So, in fact, if you look deep enough, within your reactors, within your CO2 units, you have seen the essence of creation. Now you are the creators. Do with your reactors what you like to be done to you. There was a point when I was writing yesterday the peace message, I read it to Dr. Elia. She said, what about if they use it for, because there was a writing in there, for the wrong reason, or trying to do mind control. The structure is that you cannot control the mind. This system cannot be abused to create a different version of the man. Because within the brain structure of the man, there is a fuse limit. There is an information transfer limit. So there is no, under no circumstances, anybody can abuse this system to create more wars or make man a slave. At the same time, within the universal family, there is enough support for such a thing has no possibility will happen here. Most of the armament factories will shut down and become silent in a very short time. Most of the aircraft industries, which are fully supported in the background for military development, will be silenced. The reason being, they'll see more profit in building systems for space, for man to travel within this planet, than actually making systems for governments to kill. There are 108 nations, actually can afford 40 of them to buy arms, the rest is all given to for a slavery of their workers and their population. Now, every single nation can afford to join the space program. And no one can enslave nobody. A handful of nations are making all the arms and bringing the rest into slavery to sell these arms. And these handful of nations have seen their time over. In one of my talks to politicians a couple of years ago, I explained to them very clearly. How come, with the stroke of a pen, there is no border in 27 nations in Europe? How come 27 nations brought all their armies to more or less zero compared to 25 years ago? How come we can't do this the same with the rest of the world? And how come these 27 nations, which have no borders and no armies amongst each other, produce most of the arms to kill the others outside the borders of their, what we call European Union? This shall stop. Millions of Europeans who've been involved in arm manufacturing of the highest sophisticated and selling it to the others, and once you sold the arm, it has to be used, otherwise there is no need for the factories, they'll go silent. It is very easy. We don't do it, you do it yourself. There is enough support for Keshe Foundation in hundreds of thousands in Europe, that when less than a handful of these reactors operate within this area, people will not go to the work, doesn't matter if they go hungry. People will go and sign for the government to pay them to stay home, that they will not write their names to build a single system to kill another man. That's the key. And that's what you will see will happen. This is a peace message of 2015. As we say, maybe premature, but very correct. We welcome you to universal community. We have walked you into it. It's for you to do the last step and join it. If by any chance any government will stop us or try to assassinate us again, we have made arrangements that their system will be released automatically to every Keshe Foundation, every nation immediately. Which means the countries which are making arms will become obsolete in one go. We will not harm not a single person, we will not harm not a single company or nation. We have made two focal points. One is Dr. Elia and one is my soul. You can call upon us as what we call to receive the strength to be able to carry this job through. From today, do not look for lift, for energy. Look what system you have got, what you can manufacture from the systems you've seen. If really Keshe Foundation was your true meaning of finding peace, build systems at the cost of less than $50. You've seen it, people are doing it with ping pong balls. Learn on the internet, build it, we give you the peace psychological part, and then man will enforce peace for the first time. Not those who sit on the king of kingships, trying to protect the borders they made to make life comfortable for themselves, and the other ones to become a slave to. We have ended up the kingship, because kingship has brought nothing but murders to protect the few to sit on the seat of kingship. Now you have 12 people around the world which more or less carry enough to support the human race to go through this process. Now we are out of the point of talking. You have bought the CO2 kits. You know how to produce it. More is on the way. We have the first 100,000 lined up for January, February, and back up to that, millions. We said when we spread enough of it and you people are making so much of it yourself, you've seen how the reactors made, you have become the tool of peace. If peace was your main object, understand that there will be a short time or short period of uncertainty, but the outcome will worth the uncertainty. There is a move to allow the Keshe Foundation becomes internationally open, as the move has been to shut it down and keep it under the carpet. We do not object to either way. We still operate the way we have done. My call goes on the world leaders who know what we are talking about. I know there are decisions at the moment being made in 3 nations on my life, what's going to be and how we're going to handle the Keshe Foundation. My message to world leaders is simple. Keshe Foundation belongs to humanity. That's why we call it a foundation and did not give it the name of a religion, because it's not a way, it's not a faith, it's a path of living. There shall not be another religion for man, because man has seen nothing but conflict through religion. Thank you very much. And if there is any question on this line, I only answer today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, for outlining that plans for 2015. Vince, are there some questions? I know there's lots of people on the GoToMeeting space there. I'm sure they have some questions they'd like to get out at this point.
Yeah, let's take questions about what was talked about today from Mr. Keshe. I think it's that's what you asked for, right, Mr. Keshe, so that we can continue on the piece and not the technical.
Fair enough.
That's what you wanted, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Is there anybody on GoToMeeting that would like to talk about peace or have any questions about how we're going to do this? as a race, as a species?
I've certainly, just to start off the conversation here, I've certainly wondered much in the past about how can this come to be, to bring new technology to the planet that's on the one hand very powerful and um, very much able to create big changes in the way we do things, and at the same time I know that we have to have a peaceful attitude when using this kind of technology, and when uh, we just have to be in a different mind space to be able to use it. And how is that going to be accomplished? And I've seen big changes in the last couple of years, especially in the, I guess you might call it, the consciousness of mankind seems to be raising. It seems to be there are more people that are concerned and aware and awake. So if that's true, then we're leading toward a mankind that is more peaceful and more considerate and has more compassion and caring and so on. But what about those who are the stragglers that are not in that mindset and are producing the weapons and mean to use them, or at least want to get paid to produce them? And how do we deal with that? And I know there's many ways that is happening throughout the world with the different peace groups and peace movements and so on. We hear things from the Pope that are unexpected on the religious leaders getting together and agreeing that to abolish slavery on the planet a couple of weeks ago was interesting, and other things to address some of the problems of inequality, which is one of the roots of why we have wars and so on. So definitely the CO2 kit and other products that are coming out in the new year will help stimulate people to think about and connect with each other, and just get that general consideration into the population. But how do we cover everything? How do we cover all the bases? Because we can't have anyone left out, in a sense. Do we need to track everybody on the planet in order to make sure that someone's not doing something that might compromise the new technology or prevent it from coming into fruition and so on? I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
The thing is, I think you missed the main point of what I explained. All the questions you asked has one answer, and I think you missed it. In delivering the balanced psychological reactors to you as groups, or different groups, we will reach the point that nobody will think about the war. We've seen this operation on other planets throughout the universe. This is not the first time we've done this. The operation is fully understood, but this way, if we do it, if I do it from SSI, I can reach every man instantaneously. But you, as a human race, have to do it for yourselves. The soul which is carried by Dr. Elia and me has the power to do the job in one instant. Then we have interfered. But you 12 and the rest of human race have to do it for yourself, that you reach your own level. Then it's done by you, it'll be permanently kept. So in everything you ask what's going to happen next, or whatever, what about the armament factories, how they're going to change, you missed the point. By running the peace reactors, that's a psychological with the star formation, you have already changed the mindset of the factories. Factories will not work. My talks before. The what I call this level of a soul to reduce is not for the soul of the man who shots a bullet. Belongs to the man who on the factory floor builds the bullet, the designer, and even the children of them, because they are benefiting by the mirror of that man at the end. Now you go in the bullet factories, you go into the armor factories and build bullets and the rest. Now you don't walk in, you prefer to go hungry than harming another one. When people refuse to go to a factory to build arms, and the factory needs, the government needs to keep people employed, then they find the tools to use the same factory to build up materials for peace, for space, for energy, for new ideas which man totally ignored. One of the biggest shame for me is, but at the same time I receive it all the time to remind me I live in a violent human race. I have somehow I don't know who has connected my telephone to instant messages which BBC puts out. BBC is a propaganda system for murder. This is why by blood we bring you to submission. This has been the policy of the British government for centuries. And the only thing which I receive from BBC is who got killed, how many people got killed, who's been destroyed, and what. I don't receive any good news. I haven't received a Merry Christmas or Happy New Year from BBC. So these broadcasters have no bad news to report. And these tools of war, which is the radio communication, will be silenced. People will not broadcast once they understand this is all. The present media is nothing but usage for sale of arms. We've seen this, how effectively it was brought to an end. When 20 news broadcasts of Al Jazeera was arrested in Egypt, immediately all the things in Egypt stopped, all the killing stopped. It was a made-up fabrication supported by BBC and Al Jazeera. There was nobody was killing nobody. They showed it and they encouraged it. And overnight, 20 news, what do you call it, broadcasters were arrested, and all the thing we heard in Egypt went silent. People, now you set their mind to understand there is no need for these kind of things to sell arms. President Reagan said something about Britain. Something in the line of Britain is the unsinkable warship carrier for America. Now this island will sink. Not physically, but in a level to sink, to be ashamed of being on this planet, to be called the British. Because nothing has come out of this island by murders for past centuries. Slavery, harming every man. Once you cannot sell tools and people understand that there is no need for war, those who've been instigated the wars will be outcasted. And that comes back to British monarchy. It's very simple. You have to understand how these wars plan years ahead. You are a member of a family. You're a father of the family. You're the breadwinner. You continuously look for a job or business that you can provide for your family. You plan, your son has to go to a private education, or your son has to go to school in 4 years, 5 years, or 10 years to university. You make sure you have a job and there is enough in the house that can support such education. So you find a peaceful way to do it, or you go and rob a bank. Or you kill somebody to get their money. Governments wish to have overpopulation according to the area mass, like British, which cannot even produce enough to feed their nation, plan long term. So, wars, killing machines, and everything else to be able to support the population. Otherwise, they don't stay in power. And the British Islands has been one of them. Instigating wars in other parts of the world to be able to rob, to steal life as a slavery, and then wars to be able to bankroll, to be able to pay for the population to live. It's exactly the same family. You call it a father, in British you call it the monarchy. Some people have to understand how the monarchy works. They call it actually the wrong way. In the monarchies, wherever there is a king, you have a king which has no power, and you have an elected government. The elected government for 5 years or 7 years or 3 years is for internal affairs of the nation, because they get changed. The long-term program for what's going to happen, where the next money is going to come, and what's going to be the income of the nation, is not planned by the prime ministers. It's planned by what they call elite council of the king's advisors. This is what people have not understood, how monarchy works. You say we live in a free nation in the West. We have a king or a queen, but at the same time you have a prime ministers. These prime ministers are there for 5 years just for internal affairs. Long-term running of the affairs and guaranteeing income for a nation doesn't stop every 5 years. What's going to do next? Is done by the kings. This is what people did not understand. The king and what they call in England Privy Council decide the program for next 40, 50 years, 100 years for the nation. So in fact, you don't live in democracy. You live in democracy of short term, what taxes you pay. The rest of the world pays for your monarchy. That's why we abolished the monarchy and the borders. Anywhere, any system which carries a monarchy and what you call democracy, you've been fooled totally by democracy. Democracy in the monarchy states does not exist. The same goes with presidential systems. Countries need a long-term income, not changing every 5 hours, every 5 years. You saw exactly in the recent past how for nearly 1.5 years Belgium had no government, but ran perfectly because the king was on throne. Democracy does not exist in the monarchy system. What you elect is for what taxes you have to pay and what is to go. The foreign affair, the holding and income of the nation is decided by the privy councils and advisors within this, what they call civil servants to the king. That's why in democracy with the king, the prime minister on a weekly basis goes to see the boss. And they meet with the king or the queen for them to approve what fits what they pass into a long-term program of the government and the nation. So, When you have people in England who will not produce arms, refuse to produce arms, government has to find a new way to run. Let's do the peace work. The presidential election is not far from monarchy in most of the nations. Democracy has to stay within the soul of the man, not to do wrong, and then the nation will not do wrong, and then the whole humanity will not do wrong. So your worries what's going to happen is very simple. You do your job in what's been asked to deliver, to bring the soul of the man in peace with his life, with his physicality. You will see the change in every attitude. You don't need to worry about that because you have never had a chance to see the true peace. Next question.
Yeah, I think Yvonne had a question here on GoToMeeting. So Yvonne, if you could have your question or say what you're going to say. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, by the way.
Hello,
Something,
everybody.
just can I read something happened here earlier? Just brought it to my attention. It's on the Skype. It says from live stream. Okay, yeah. Okay. It says it's from Hani Ahmed. What will in Egypt? What will happen if they get to Mr. Keshe, Dr. Elia, and other 12 in one go? They get the physicality, they can't stop us from internally to give our soul to you. Even if they terminate our physicality, our soul has got its job to do. And secondly, our soul does not belong to this planet. It stays and will operate. You have to realize this is the third time we have tried to establish peace here. The last two times, first of all, international understanding was not there because there was not a mass communication. Secondly, the man intelligence and technological development was not there to deliver everything at the same time to everyone. Now, man has reached that industrial maturity and intellect to be able to do it. And do you know something? Even the world leaders are fed up of the murders. They could not find a way to walk into peace. Now we have given them an excuse. They can say, Keshe Foundation has come up with this, we want to try. As you know, my condition with the Americans has been that if we start development in conjunction with the Americans in the space or any other angle, the Iranian scientists will be on the same table. And we hear the messages coming from America responding to it in a positive way. Because nobody is nobody's enemy. And this way, the ones who want to make more profit, it's a new opportunity. Every pattern, every structure of the man's life needs to be reorganized to be in a peaceful way. So this is a huge industrial revolution beyond man's imagination. And those who want to get richer, the faster they get on the bandwagon, they make more money. If money was their target. So don't worry, our physicality has a time limit. But our soul is without dimension and time. We have come across universes to be here to deliver what is to be delivered. A man's body is worthless. Next question. Which one?
Can we participate without physical reactor setup?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Who's speaking?
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes,
It's
we can hear
Ivan from
you.
Bulgaria.
Yes, Ivan?
Uh, so I want to make a point, and before I start, I wish to say it with all my good intentions, but it's going to be a little bit long, so can you please hear me and not interrupt?
Yes, I'll stay silent. If it's to do with our work of
Okay.
today, yes.
Yes. So I heard everything that you say, and I'm around this foundation from a long time, and I think you miss a point. In March and April, there were the guns introducing, and you say something that the world hunger is over and it's done. But actually, we are in January now, and it turned out to be a little bit different. And now you're saying that the father he will refuse to go to work, and he will be hungry. But how long a father watch his child to be hungry? The the fabrics they can close for weeks, 2 months. How long a father can watch his child go hungry? You speak about power and stuff. Who will go to war if you have food? This is the point. From 9 to 5, you don't go to job just to do something. You go there to take your food to the table to eat. So you want to bring peace? That's even more easy. Why reactor? Just give the food to the people and it's done. You think somebody is going to listen to the president if I have some food on my
No,
table and I'm
no,
going to
no,
fight
no.
with my neighbor? No,
Okay, it's
I'm
your
done.
point of view.
Thank you.
You missed. You missed. Let me explain to you. Go back in March and April. We delivered the first CO2 in March, April. It's you who missed the point. We are exactly according to our plan. If you go when the knowledge seekers
Yes, but
came
you
in
say that it's
February, no, 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 no. You are what happened? The CO2 and amino acid which is created on top of your CO2 boxes is the most natural food for man. No child will go hungry. We announced different ways of it. We received a lot of threats. People wrote to the American, to the Italian military, this guy is saying people eat this and that, blah, blah, blah. We have delivered what we said. No one went to deliver, to test, to put the things together, to show how effective food energy system the CO2 kit is. You all ran for the energy. It's your fault, not ours. We do not go back until you find a way. There are a bunch of terrorists sitting in Germany with different names and coming the backup of the same from, what do you call it, Czech Republic, who distracted your point from that, from where it was. None of you, we have announced this several times, who has opened and tested the CO2 with amino acid connection as a food. It's the most powerful energy food. I explained this in the conference with the Italian last week. How ignorant the man is. You go to the shop, you buy Coca-Cola, which is nothing but CO2 in it, and that CO2 is energy for you because you get the sugar with it. How come the CO2 in the gas material, which is the natural state of it, is not an energy supply? You missed the point. We delivered our promise, not us. A father does not need, no one needs to
Mr.
go
Keshe.
hungry. No. Because let me explain to you. A gram of CO2 will deliver more than you can ever imagine. You were too greedy for energy, you missed it. It's not my job. I went on it 2-3 times. A father with a small system in the house can feed and create what he needs to feed his children. And again, you go back to the presence. You got to understand one point. If you would have released this information the way we have and we emphasized on it, you most probably in Bulgaria more problem than anybody else. Because if you claim what, why didn't you listen to what was said? You are all targeting one way. Energy, energy, and energy. That's all. Stealing, because energy is the way which pays your taxes. We showed you the food. If I go step by step on everything we said in our roadmap, we delivered. You say how the child goes hungry, a bottle of Coca-Cola with 12 spoons of sugar in it. 12 spoons of sugar a day can do a lot. But you receive the energy of a plasma equal to plasma of a star. And you're still ignorant to it, and you blame somebody else. No one has ever, since March, which the knowledge seekers released the first GANs, has tested the GANs for its food application, for its energy delivery, and in conjunction with the protein which is on top of it. How many times have I spoken? Because a GANs in conjunction with the amino acid on the top, which is imbalanced and parallel with the structure of the man body, is the best source of energy. You do not even need to eat for years. You missed the point, not us. And I told you, till you don't come to understanding of it, we don't deliver. We have delivered, as we said, in March, April, we delivered no one go hungry. We showed it to you. There is a guy called, what's his name? In Germany, Austria? Valerenz, yeah. They're writing to the Italians and other governments that this guy is this criminal, blah, blah. These are paid terrorists sitting in different countries. In Germany, we monitor, we see people writing it, yeah? We show, we delivered our technology to the governments and they know what it is. You are after energy, not us. We showed you, you go to our roadmap and go on the dates what we said, everything has delivered. But look at it in what you received, in not what you wanted to receive.
Mr. Keshe, you are the one saying...
Pardon?
You are the one saying, please do not eat the guns until we test it.
I don't tell you, because nobody, we still tell, don't eat the guns till everyone tells you how much energy you eat. It has to be calibrated by the officials, by you people. How come you go and measure every flux, everything which happens, every current? Why not a single scientist went to measure the GAN's power and the energy which delivers? This is your greed of energy to steal from yourselves, which blinded you. The only people who have worked in that direction, partially, is the Chinese government through their institutes. Go and find who this guy is. We have telephone numbers. We know where it is, who it is. These are terrorists sitting in conjunction with people in Czechoslovakia who, with the same kind of name, with different names, are writing to all the government to stop the Keshe Foundation. We are terrorists. I've been threatened. We go to they've written to the Italian military. They just threw their tickets out. We got people who read different languages and we get monitored who's doing what. Why should I put my life? You don't, I always said, when you go to a limit, we teach you, we take it further. How many scientists around the world even tested the, what do you call it, CO2? How many people get tested in conjunction with the most natural protein in the universe, which is on the top of the water? None of you. The greed of energy blinded you. So is the habit of man. Don't blame us, it's there. You say, I tell you not to eat because we have to protect ourselves legally in the hand of the terrorists who sit around you. What's his name again? What? Valerinki. Yeah? We are aware of what's happening. We are not blind. Governments inform us what's going on. The same people who wrote all over the world for Keshe Foundation to be stopped with the health, the same people again. They threaten us with everything else. What do? We put everything out, we put the systems out. Now world peace depends on the cups which is tested for the psychological effect. We have delivered, you are blind to it, don't blame us. Get somebody, we have now, Dr. Elia is speaking.
Well, I think Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
This goes back to spoon feeding. Everybody wants to be spoon fed. And you've said from the beginning, from our first workshop, that you're not going to spoon feed us. And I think that the core group that's been around for the longest, and people that are in the background as well, have also realized that you're not going to spoon feed us. But yet we need to incorporate that technology or what we've understood into what we're doing now. And I think A lot of us have gone that way, but there's still going to be those that need to be spoon-fed. And that's what we can be there for, to be able to relate our experiences to those people that can't understand because you're not spoon-feeding. And
My job is not spoon
I think
feeding,
that's
as
the
you
whole
said.
point of it.
This is the reason why now we're starting to set up the university. No message ever been delivered so directly to so many people at the same time. The message of Christ was written 300 years after his death with whatever they liked it to write. Muhammad's message was written 40 years after his death. We don't know how much of it is true. How much of it was written to fit and how much of it was changed according to fit. It's the same with all the messengers of the past. This time we deliver everything directly, and we are so direct because of the communication line that you can ask, we deliver. I did not speak last time about the magnetic bulb till you saw it. And then when you opened up to a column. Because it's your job to deliver. We have given you all the tools. We are here to guide. No one asked a single question from the Chinese team. Have you tested the vegetables? What happened to them? Is there any change in the structure? Why do you wait for the Chinese? You're producing the GANs. Go out. How come you plant every year tomatoes, potatoes, everything? Plant some in the house today, tomorrow. Get it tested. Ask on the foundation forums or wherever, I've done this, can somebody test it for me? There is enough knowledge and support. Don't blame us, blame yourself for your own shortcoming.
Mr. Keshe, how can we test this thing?
What?
How can they test?
Test
How
it.
the test
Go
can be
on
done?
the testing is very simple. There are people around the Keshe Foundation organization as a whole worldwide, scientists who can do the testing. They are put in there, I made this, can somebody get me energy level of it? As you know, we announced a couple of weeks ago that Dr. Elia has we've been in a meeting with an American French scientist that early this year, with Mr. Professor Winter, that we start doing what you call the elements table. Now we're going to release the measurement table of each, GANs. This is already planned. This is already done, actually done by Dr. Elia while we were in the meeting. She has decided to do it with the Professor Winter. We give you names, we don't say we are doing it. And Brad spent some time with them in France last week when he was here 2 weeks ago. You are not doing it, we're trying to do it. So,
Professor Paul.
Pardon?
Professor John Paul and Winter.
Professor John Paul, yeah. Thanks, Brad. And Professor Winter were with you. So we are doing our work, but we are spoon feeding you. None of you are doing it. And that's why we said when the governments take their balls of making arms and putting the energy into development of systems for the new technology, all this will be done in no time.
So they're able to produce something and
you send, you produce. Let me tell you something. We give you a shortcut. This is the idea of Dr. Elia here next to me. We are together in Italy because there's a lot of things happening in Italy for us. As you know, the Keshe Foundation is moving down to south of Italy. As of more or less, we are here to see it through. Dr. Elia, what she says is that whatever material you produce, send it. We'll give you an address, send it to us for tests. And we tell you the energy level of it, what it does, and how it reacts. Let me explain something. I said it a few minutes ago. If a CO2 gas, which you gobble it up in millions of, pieces in a Coca-Cola bottle, is not harming you, how can the GANs of CO2 harm you? So look, the people who put this out, they are people who sit within what we call food terrorist organizations. Frighten people, you can stop them. and then you still can carry on with your thieving. This guy in Germany, Austria, Walensky, is one of them. He writes in German things we don't want. He is monitored by a lot of terrorist organizers with security people. He comes with different name, European name too. These are the people who are paid to write things in the wrong way to stop, because he's paid, they've got accounts which they get paid to it. These are what we call terrorists against humanity. So don't blame us. Now you want to know, now we have found this. Actually, we didn't find scientists. They came with Brad to meet us. He's a beautiful, knowledgeable scientist. He's measured the plasma. Now with the suggestion of Dr. Elia, we're going to test every GANS for his energy and everything else, and the measurement of the plasma. So in the coming months, hopefully we find other scientists who can collaborate. We will bring what we call cash table, not Mendeleev. Mendeleev gives you the matter level, we give you as a cash table the energy level and the plasma level as a GANS. Yeah? And so this is what we are doing. This is why the new university is set up, to teach more, to teach more.
Also, it's funny that Italians
Keshe?
in Bulgaria, and Bulgarians do not do.
Pardon?
Right, and also,
Hold on 1 second. You better speak here, not in my...
I said, hello, Ivan. I was speaking English. Sorry, it's not in Bulgarian with you. So I said it's funny things that the Italians plan to produce CO2 kits and to agriculture testing in Bulgaria and Bulgarians that don't do anything after the moment. It's so, how to say, strange situation for me. So you guys, you are able, we are agriculture country to produce so many things and to try and to make assets for testing and then to send tomatoes or whatever vegetables you treated with CO2 for test, not to eat, just to produce for testing. You understand?
Yes, I understand, but my point was not to blame. I wish to say
No.
that I work for many times to send the material somewhere to be tested because I don't know what I produce. But until now, it was not structured in a way that it's a clear address that you can produce something, send it there, and know what
The
you have.
thing is,
that's right,
you
Ivan.
see,
That's right, Ivan.
You're,
Up until
you're
now.
correct. Up to now, it wasn't. And thanks to Brad. Brad has been helping the foundation in different ways in the background. Yeah, there are
I
a
just
lot
also
of
want to
people
let you know, Mr. Kesh, I want to let you know that I will be meeting Jean-Paul and talking to him, and I'll try to be bringing him some samples. So he has something to do right away in the middle of January or closer to the end. So I'll be meeting them right away to get that started. Hopefully I'll be
Yes,
included in that
it's
as well.
just that now you know everything. It's you who have to help each other. We have given you all the tools. How you
Yes,
put how much up. You see, one of the...
Right,
let me
it's not
explain.
instant though. It takes time.
It takes time. It's a new technology. It'll take 1,000 years plus for man to unravel the whole of the technology which we have given you. And even then, you only achieve 1% of the total knowledge if you do. If with all the human resources come together and work day and night to gather all the information about what I have released, even only in 2014, you still won't give in to 1% of the total knowledge which can be gained from it in the universe. So if you, let me, to those who want to measure the systems, if you measure, you have to measure one GANS. Because if you have two GANSes, it's totally different. You see different properties. First of all, we have to be able to take one piece out. And then taking one piece, measure it according to its mass, to its what it is. There is much more detail than what you see. And now, those who wrote and they tried to stop the foundation, we have a simple message for you. Thank you very much, because you brought more people to listen to the reality. Next step, we will see the world peace moving in a totally different direction within coming weeks. We are aware of movements in the background. I tell you what we need. There is a request we need today. We need a large quantity of dried CO2. You can send it to the foundation. If you have it, send a message to the Keshe Foundation. We need maybe about 20 to 50 grams of dried CO2 in a powder form. This is a request by government which the Keshe Foundation is considering at the moment. Who's Giovanni? No. Send an email to us, we'll tell you where to send it. You send an email to the health. We need 20 grams of dried CO2 urgent this week. It's a need of a government at crisis. We suggest send an email if you have to Dr. Elia at the health.
Mr. Keshe, I have it. I can send it.
Hi Armin, thank you very much. When you come, I'll tell you, you're in Los Angeles. The guy is 50 kilometers away from you.
I can bring.
The guy,
Armin,
I
can give it.
You can give it to him. I'll organize. How much do you have?
Yes.
Pardon?
I have a lot. But I can dry it right away.
Okay, dry it the right way. Don't fast dry it. Take the salt out. Take the salt. You gotta wash it, dry it, and it goes directly to an office of a government.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Armin. We
Mr.
are
Keshe,
receiving.
No
yes.
problem.
I was
Tell
going
me
to ask,
where I'll do it.
what is the correct way to dry it now that you mentioned that? And the fast dry method, would that be under vacuum, you mean?
If you dry it with the heat, it goes black, it goes to nano state.
It's very easy.
Go on, Arman, explain how you do it.
No, you don't need, Mr. Keshe.
Can you explain how you do it?
It's very easy to dry. I have a cloth, that I can run the water and the gas stays out, so it's a few days, it's dry. I have a net. It's hello.
Arman, you're breaking up. You're breaking
Hello?
up.
I have a very fine net. It's but when you pull the gas into it, gas stays on and the water goes down, and you can dry it afterwards.
Okay.
Naturally.
Now
Armin,
this is a knowledge seeker.
Armin, how do you have worse internet at home? Okay.
Here, I'm going to show it to you. 1 minute.
How are you going to show with your internet as being as bad as it is? How do you have worse internet at home than in Italy? I don't understand that.
He's in the advanced United States network.
Oh, I understand. I see.
Yeah, it's a virtual network.
I know you're not in Italy, yet you have a very bad network connection, so we cannot see any video.
Yeah, I know.
Can I advise you
interfere.
something, guys?
Yes, go ahead.
Go to any print shop, and that have different sizes for
To what shop?
So you a print shop. To a print shop.
A print shop.
And yes, and they have a different sizes of meshes. They do the printing with.
Here.
We can't see it. Can you put it on the live stream, please?
Yeah, I see it. Rick, do you see that one?
Yep, I'll get it up on the live stream in a minute here. Just a second.
I have different sizes.
Just a minute, Ermin. Let me get it up here.
So it's like silk screen.
Yeah. It's very fine. I have different sizes, so.
Right.
Yeah, that can
I
get
use
from
the
any
right
printer
size.
for
I can
CNC
collect all the GANs from the water.
or printed circuit
Could you
board.
just hold that up again, Armin? Because we missed most of that on the live stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did you take this net from? Can you tell us?
Where is it?
It's silk screening process.
Yeah, it's actual silkscreen material then, Armin.
I will post it in Facebook, in SSI.
Oh, we can
People
see
can
you better than your cloth. Hi, Armin. Yeah, they call it, yeah, I know what it is. Okay, Armin, if you can dry as much as CO2 and copper oxide, yeah, then I will talk, I tell you where it has to be delivered.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I have maybe one big jar of copper oxide, but CO2 I have 8. So
okay. You see, you have to. I mean, for people who listen, you got to realize, Armin and Marco and Elia become the next generation of the teachers for you. They are your next generation because they are here. We work very directly. These are the pillars of the foundation in the way they come up. So in so many ways, you do not need to come to us unless it's very cannot be resolved. But people like Armin and Marco, they are so humble, but they are hugely knowledgeable now in the technology. Because what we do, you are involved with it maybe half an hour, or 3 or 4 hours a day. These guys eat and breathe and live with the foundation. They see different things, but they are not aware of their own knowledge and their own strength till they're asked, and then they can give it to you. Yeah, as Elias says, we live and dream it. So this is what it is. These are the pillars which are built and took time, and now you can rely on them and support and find anything to do. There are others, they sit around the
I was going to ask, how about the dry GANs?
Yeah, breaking down Vince. What did you ask?
The dry GANs. Is there a specific purpose for dry GANs?
Yes, it is. It's a very urgently needed. It's a governmental application. As I told you, we work through different governments, and they have requested it. It's official governmental at the level of the Prime Minister office level. Yes. We don't disclose it because it's a specific need. It has come through the channels for us, and we have to oblige. Don't say peace. No, actually, it is for a peaceful use for humanity. We have no problem in this because knowledge seekers, they know who it is for. They were on a standby to travel to the country before the holidays. So they know themselves who we are talking about. It's internally within the. We don't keep any secrets from the knowledge seekers in SSI. Armin immediately knows what it's for and who it's for. Am I correct, Armin? Is he in the background or has disappeared? Can you hear us?
Armin seems to be having a technical difficulty there with his connection, I see.
It's the superior U.S. connection.
Back in the U.S., back in the U.S., back in the USSR, as the song goes.
Yes, USSR. Actually, as you know, Armin is the person who heads the Keshe Foundation USA. He bought the Keshe Foundation .org and .com a long time ago and donated it to the foundation, long before he comes to SSI. And he's setting up the Keshe Foundation SSI, what they call a Keshe Foundation, as an entity in United States while he's there during the holidays. So we'll have a tangible, physical company as a Keshe Foundation in US.
All the Keshe Foundations are together SSI.
How to get in?
SSI.
SSI.
Bulgarian,
Yes.
US.
So these are the developments which is happening in different directions. And if Arman comes back, can we get him? Or is he disconnected totally? Is Marco on the line or Marco is off?
I see Marco here.
Can Marco speak? Hi, Marco.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Marco. Happy New Year. We just woke you up. You heard what we requested and what Arman said about the dried CO2.
Yeah, I heard. I know what is for what.
You know exactly what it's going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you understand what it is. So you see, we work very openly within SSI. And
Yes.
the knowledge seekers know it's for a good reason and is as a governmental level. But please don't mention where and who. I'm not mentioning. I've been told I mentioned.
Okay, so that's the dried GANs.
Yeah.
But the dry GANs, the specific purpose, is it a medical purpose or is it a something else that we could possibly participate in at home?
No, this cannot be disclosed at the moment. We'll explain to you later on.
Okay.
There's a reason for it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Some of us go to work because we love to do more, for helping more and advancing more. That's from that. Okay, is there any other question?
Yeah, how to achieve peace inside of us.
How to achieve peace inside of us? Very easy. Try to understand there is no conflict between the physicality and emotional. A lot of people search for peace, but peace within the man comes when there is a balance between the triangle of the soul, the emotion, and the physicality. As I always say, anger comes when there is a misbalance between physicality and emotion. And detachment comes when there is a balance between the soul and the emotion. When you reach balance between your emotion and your soul, you find out you don't need much to look for, because it comes to you as you need it.
Is that an Armin Gans snow globe?
That's exactly what it is, Vince. This is an Armin Gans snow globe, the Canadian new invention, the Gans snow globe.
Where is it?
On live stream, Mr. Keshe.
I'm watching it. We don't see anything on the live stream.
Yeah.
It should be under the 43rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop.
We are on it. We are watching it. We are reading what is get written.
No, on the video.
I think it's
in the GoToMeeting, not in the live stream.
No, it's not on the live stream. We don't see anything. We just see the setup of...
refresh your live stream then, because
it's there. I see it. It's there.
Can you refresh it?
I seen it. And it was pretty.
Maybe I can put it on. Let me.
Don't shake it anymore, Rick. Don't shake it.
I'll try to put it on.
Let the picture come through.
Can we catch up?
It might be on the Skype now too. I'll try to
let the picture come through. Don't shake it.
What is this?
It's the Armin snow globe. It's the thing you have at Christmas normally with Santa Claus inside. Okay, you can see his pictures slowly forming there.
I cannot see anyway.
You can't see, Armin?
No, I cannot. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now watch. Here it comes. There's GANs in the bottom. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
And it
That's a
actually
good
works,
one, Rick. It's a good one.
It works really well, and you can see. I don't know if you can see up close, really, but you can definitely see the snow in there, and it's actually quite fun to play with. This is the Canadian Armin snow globe for one of the originators of GANs in the world. It's our dedication from the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group here. But it's a great little thing. I'm going to try to get the leftovers in from the store, because you can actually insert different things in the middle. It has a pocket inside that's able to put stuff inside. I actually want to try to rotate the entire structure and create a GANs ring inside. And then there's the pocket inside where you can put things and either charge them from the GANs ring, or it'll be where the free plasma is. So maybe a pocket of a GANs sandwich or some sort of other materials in the center could work. It's a very simple apparatus. It actually comes apart. There's a pocket inside there, and it's very easy. I took out the original water and took out the original snow and put in the CO2 GANs instead.
Listen, do you want to reach Armin in one go? Put that right in the middle of your star formation, where the free plasma should be. You will reach him very quick.
Yeah, he won't fit in the middle. He's too big.
His head is too big.
Yeah, his head's too big. He can be off to the side a bit, but it's dicey.
I'm gonna be directional reactor.
There you go, Armin. You can be right close to the action there now.
Just please do not do not connect with his brain.
Yeah.
Well, I could clip the picture so the top part of your brain's not there.
It's above the donuts.
Very nice.
So yeah, it's a handy apparatus. I think once it catches on, people might actually enjoy putting pictures of loved ones in there that they want to protect with the ring of GANs that floats around it, or surround their loved ones with a GANs protection, or just enhanced. If two people had these in different parts of the world, they would be connected with each other in some way. So if they had certain pictures inside, perhaps they would be even more connected with those people than they would be normally. Thinking boyfriend and girlfriend and so on. It's sort of a direct communication. It's almost like a crystal globe, or if you're having your fortune told, you'd have a crystal ball, but this one just happens to have images actually inside of it.
later on, when we go further, I will show you how you do transmutation of elements through very much similar system. I told you, when you go, I'll open the door. Let it be. I'll explain to you in the coming time how you can reach the emotional part of every human race on this planet. You have the star formation.
Do you mean as a race, Mr. Keshe, as opposed to humans as individuals?
No.
So there's a certain vibe or
Rick,
whatever?
Rick, let me explain something. Every being, every decision-making being on this planet is connected to each other in one way. And that's the key. And as I always say, I give you the Rolls Royce, but I don't give you the key. In respect to in reaching every creature, because you're always looking at the man. In respect to reaching all the creatures on this planet, calling even the plants, because to me, plants are creatures. They are not separate. As I was explaining a couple of days ago, you always look at the horizontal movers, what I call animals. You never look at the vertical movers, as we spoke before, the plants and vegetation. They have life. As Dr. Elias said, the difference between the two is one carries in the amino acid.
Difference between
two, the animals and the vegetables in their blood.
Yes.
One has iron.
Iron and magnesium.
And magnesium. So you'll find out you should be able to reach every entity which is a decision maker, not just because it moves. Because a plant moves up, still in motion. A fish does, amoeba does. Everything which can replicate itself has a soul and a decision making. And this planet has a common ground. That's what we said, the world peace does not include humanity. It includes the entire being which can divide and be able to connect and collect its manipulation. The point is, as I was explaining a couple of days ago to the scientists here with us, I had my son in the car with me as we were driving off, and we faced the ocean and a very strong wind and turmoil on the sea. I said to him, "Can you explain to me what you see with the waves? How the waves are created and what is the purpose of them?" Oh, he said, the energy of the wind goes to the water and it becomes the wave. I said, "Do you know the purpose?" But he couldn't go any further. The energy of the wind, of this positioning of the air on this planet, is the source of life on this planet. What does it do? It brings the gases within this planet, which is the majority of the oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and hydrogen, in touch with the salt water, literally forces it into the water which contains the salt. And at that point, creates amino acid on the surface. And with the wave, with the pressure of the waves, the way water gets mixed with the minerals in that water leads to establishment of life. And then becomes life in the seas. A lot of time, a lot of people ask one question: How come there is no life and suddenly when it rains, out of nowhere fishes appear? My dear friend, the structure of the life comes with the rain and the wind in the air, which creates its own amino acid, and a natural process takes place, what it takes in millions of years. You start the cycle of life, decision-making life. So in the high seas, you continuously produce new cycle of life by air, by wind pressurizing or forcing the contact between the gases. When it's simultaneously done the way and the minerals in the water decide what kind of life starts in that air, in that water. And then by cycling it, it goes to the bottom of the water, on the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the seas, and the life starts growing, and what you call, as we said in our papers, oil and gas. So understand the process. If the process happens on every second of this planet, life continuously created by the oceans, by the seas, through the wind, and then we eat it as fish, how can the CO2 which you create in your home, safety of nothing else, can be dangerous for your life? Where do you think the life starts originally on this planet? The process you do in your CO2 cups. As we said, you put the plates outside the cup, you still see the CO2 will happen inside, and you see the amino acid on the top. This is what you got to understand the process. And then, if you can control it, you, in your CO2 units which you receive, put the plates outside it. This rate of the production of CO2 will be slightly slower. But what you get is a pure CO2 with amino acid. You have done, only thing if you're very happy to do it naturally, put a little fan on top of your CO2 kit unit to create the turbulence that the amino acid gets mixed up with the salt in the water and the CO2, and you will see new life. You will start creating fish in your CO2 tanks. Because the process up to now has been stationary. You create a wind condition or turbulence of the oil to get mixed with the CO2 and with the other minerals which is in your water. You decide you want a vegetation, protein, or you want fish, or you want beef. Now you understand how easy it has been and how you've been blind to it. Mix continuously the amino acid mixture which comes with the air with the conversion of CO2 into your salt, and decide what the salt water will have as a metal content, magnesium or iron. And the knowledge seekers have seen in the lab in SSI. You add iron in the right combination, you'll get red blood, and you get a very soft protein. You go direction of the fish. So now, you tell me, how would you like your CO2s to become? This is what I discussed with the Italian scientists on Friday. I said, people haven't seen it, they don't understand it. You watch the CO2, you watch the amino acid, the fat, all of you who made the CO2 kit, and you produce CO2, you've seen the layer of the fat. But none of you, as Vince said, I have to spoon feed you. If you do what the seas do, what the wind does, that it turns this amino acid on the surface into the mixture of the water, and you have the CO2 at the bottom, and you decide what mixture you're going to put copper, iron, whatever into your salt, then you produce a material which is matching to your digestion system. What would you like, banana or a strawberry? Now no man should go hungry. Now you understood the process of the nature. Sitting on the top in your boxes does nothing because you made the separation. You haven't gathered enough intelligence to mix it while it's there. Create the wind condition. Let it mix and roll in that container. The natural way, not with a spoon.
Mr. Keshe, what about blowing through with like a straw or something, a tube, blowing through with
Good
CO2?
idea.
Pardon me?
So it's answer because it's connected
What?
to what when you create a life, are you creating a soul?
Yes, yes, because that's what somebody has written on the live stream, Ivan. So this is what I said from the beginning. Every time you set a reactor, your solar system, pray for it. As Ivan says here, once you create a life, you create a soul. So now if you want to be materialistic, without giving it a life, do not touch the amino acid. Just use the CO2. If you want to be true man, no harming energy, because the CO2 still is in the state of energy. Once you mix the CO2 and metals into the amino acid which has come from the air, which creates the essence of life, then you create a soul. Then you have a live eating. We were sitting with the Italian scientists on the table a few days ago, and the guy ate vegetables. He says, I'm vegetarian, I only have the lentils. I said, you know, I'm eating a piece of fish. I know it's one animal I killed. You are eating hundreds of thousands of lentils, seeds. Everyone has a life. You're killing thousands because it doesn't talk. You say, I'm not eating, I'm not killing anything. But everyone has a life because its protein is alive. He said, now I have to rethink my eating because I became vegetarian 6 months ago. And he said, I stopped eating meat because of your work. And now I have to rethink to do it again. Because once you create a condition, condition creates life. And then you understand, thou shalt not steal. Then you understand the root of the essence of peace. So you said not to feed. You said in April you give food to everyone. It's been there. You mix the protein with what you like, you get what you want. Because even banana has got a structure of protein because it comes from plant. Plant has a protein structure in a different form because it carries magnesium. It still has a blood vessel in it. Because it's not red doesn't mean it's dead. We call it the sap. You understand the process? You have been blind to your own what's in front of you because the greed of man has been the energy. So now you have a CO2 kit, find a way to rotate that protein into the water of the salt. You tell me in 6 weeks' time how many different kind of fishes you have in your tank. You never put a single fish inside. As I will say always to Dr. Elia, good morning, you just woken up.
So
Now
you've actually been selling saltwater fish tanks, not CO2 kits. Uh-huh. That's interesting.
Good morning. Good morning. Now you see what we told you, we give you every element of the creation. Every man takes from this technology according to his intelligence. You go and stand in front of the ocean and ask yourself, how did the life start in this place? Nobody. We don't have fishes in the universe, you know that? There are no fishes in the universe. How did the fish come to be in the water? Ask yourself a simple question. And look for the true answer, not because they said boat of Noah brought it. Understand the process. If a sea can produce a fish, so can you. Understand the process. Now you know. I always said, a lot of people who've been around me, they know. Cosmologists say, every day 1 million stars are created in this universe. And I used to say, okay, it's become so easy, I make one more myself every day. So I used to make one reactor that it was replicating the work of the universe as a star. But now the knowledge we've given you in GANs, every one of you creates billions of stars every day. But you're always looking for a big thing. It's the habit of man. You look for a big, beautiful things. I look for miniature to see the beauty of creation. That's why I became a nuclear physicist. You look for kilowatts, I look for microwatts. Can you imagine if your body was creating a kilowatt of energy every millisecond? It'll be a nuclear bomb exploding all the time because the body can't handle it.
When we die, when the soul go out, is this radiation like a nuclear bomb of Hiroshima? They measure it.
There we are, from Dr. You can speak.
It is interesting that when the person die and when the last wisp go out and the soul of the person go out, they measured that the energy was released from the dying body. It is like 6 or 7 nuclear bomb of Hiroshima. That amount of energy our body release during the dying process.
So now how much energy you've been carrying? Any other question? Today is a New Year's Day. I think we're going a little bit too long. I think you had your New Year's Day present.
I think you delivered on that. It's now just over 2 hours. We wanted to make the workshop just 2 hours today, so I think we'll have to end the questions and so on. And I want to thank Mr. Keshe for enabling us to be creators of stars, as it's introduced today with the GANs material. We're actually creators of stars. That's a very interesting idea, I thought. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Is there anything else you'd like to end up with here?
Please, whoever listens to this broadcast, we know hundreds of thousands of millions of people listen every week in different ways. Try to concentrate on one thing for this year. Find peace within yourself, that you can give peace your community, the humanity. And if you are in a position to be able to develop very simple reactors like a star formation, and in the coming days we release the balanced peace reactors, then try to reach through your soul. You don't need the physicality of the body. To the others, they become peace within themselves. Find peace within themselves. And then we will achieve what we call the world peace this year. We will achieve, is our target, and we will carry it out. As in coming days and weeks, you will hear more what we are doing. But as Dr. Elias says to me, every time we tell you not to say something, you say it. So we don't never tell you not to say something. But I know you all laugh.
Sooner the better, right? It's the new year, so we can achieve peace tomorrow. We can do that.
Yeah, but you got to realize that there is a need for a lot of things to come into balance. If you're watching a television and you unplug it suddenly, you see what happens to it. You get that, if you remember that black spot in the middle? Humanity needs a few more months to totally, through their leaders, to understand there is a need for peace. That's why you've been sending your souls to them. Because it has already touched those who needs to touch. And as we finish for the 12 days of, as we said, for to the physical soul of the prophets, because the prophets of God have two souls. One is the soul of the physicality, and one is the soul of a prophet, which is connected to the Creator. You've been praying, a lot of you, for this physical soul of the prophets, not the soul as the soul of the Prophet, because it was the physicality which did not give the message, not the soul as a soul level, as a Prophet. You got to realize, as I explained this before, the prophets of God, human carry one soul. When you become prophet, you accept the position is accepted by your body, then you have two souls. One is a physicality soul, and one is the soul of the prophet. The 12 core, they've been praying, they've been giving their souls, and all of you who've been supporting them, to the physical soul for what they've done wrong. The true soul of a prophet, which is the second soul they carry, and is not open to humans to carry that second soul, is untouchable and clean and perfect. So you need to pray for your own souls, that the human race soul as a whole and the soul of all the living things on this planet reaches the peace, the state of peace. Doesn't matter in what level they live, at the bottom of the sea or at the top of the atmosphere of this planet. They are created according to the condition of this planet. So they carry the soul of this planet. They all have to come to peace. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll have a next session next Thursday. There's something here. It says somebody asked, at what age? There is a question here Dr. Elia wants me to answer. It says, Mr. Keshe, at what age and maybe occasion you started this path? I don't have a path. We are born, our bodies, our conditions are conditioned thousands of years before our physicality is conditioned to be here a long time before our physically born. For us to be in the condition to appear and to be where we are chosen, the body, physical body is chosen through the bloodline centuries ago. I was explaining this to Caroline yesterday. When a prophet promises the next prophet, coming of the next prophet, his physical soul already aware of the line when the next prophet is come, so it's already in progress. We don't become, we don't accept, it's just when you reach the point, you have to accept the responsibility of the physicality to join within the soul of the man. It's not destiny, it's well planned, well planned. That's why the prophets speak about the next prophet, because they already know when and what their terms are. We don't choose, it's a gift given. And if the physical soul accepts it, the two work together in parallel. One has nothing to do with the other. But in conjunction, thou shalt not steal. So we are aware, the ancestors are aware within their souls what is planned into whom and where. It's not just you pick and drop. And then still the physicality, the soul of the physical body has to accept the prophet soul, and then the physical body has to accept that soul as well. Because it's through the physical soul, physical body, which the words of God are spoken. Because you people need to see something. In the other dimensions, we release through the emotion of the soul. And it's heard and it's done, it's much easier. This is a problem with physicality. I think we close the question today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thanks very much indeed. We speak next Thursday. Can we speak before on the 12th day as we promised with the core team? that we can conclude our work?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Have a happy and wonderful New Year.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Keshe,
Happy New
and
Year.
same to you. I think it's going to be a great year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
And I also like to just say a special thanks to everybody for donating through 2014 to help myself and others survive the year and present these workshops and continue the work here. It's because of that that's enabled all this to happen. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you, Rick.
Thank you, Armin, for all your work. You've done so much the last year. It's incredible. I think you're going to do a lot more in the coming year too. I have an inkling. Okay, shall we close the workshop here now on live stream? I think so. So as I often say, so ends the 43rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thank you everybody for attending.